and the river corridor, which is proposed wilderness, is a huge deal. I mean, that's not what we're about. We're about preservation. That's why I joined the Park Service, because not really into excavation until this project started. It's beneficial. Anyway, we haven't had excavations at this large scales. The last one that occurred was really with Doug Schwartz, and he did work in the late 60s, and that was 2 sites along the river corridor, and that's Uncar Delta and Bright Angel Pueblo. And then he did some work on the north rim at Walhalla Blades. So that might give you an indication that this is a rare opportunity, and that the park really doesn't want to, keep that process going, because we are there to preserve. But we also know that there's a time when you have to say, you know what, we're losing really good information, and we've got to retrieve that before we lose it. So that's Doug Schwartz right there. You recognize him? All right, let me see if I can get this right. Okay. So for several years, and this was even before my time, we were putting proposals in to excavate some sites. As early, as late as 1995, we were putting proposals to do excavation. It wasn't until 2006 that we received $1 million for this project that we're talking about tonight, to excavate 9 archaeological sites, some of the largest and most intensively eroded sites along the corridor. This money came from the Floria, I'll say, you guys can read that. Floria project funding source. And that's basically people who come to the park and pay that entrance fee. The park gets to keep, Grand Cape gets to keep 80% of that, and they're allowed to disperse it how they feel appropriately. It was our number was up finally, and superintendent agreed to actually pay for these excavations, and so that was in and of itself a huge deal. We contracted out this motley crew over here. This is actually Dr. Ted Neff from M&A, Museum of Northern Arizona. We did a CESU, Cooperative Agreement Contract, with Museum of Northern Arizona to conduct the excavations. And so far so good. And this was actually after our first excavation in 2007 after the crash. This is just to give you an aerial view of this says 10, but we're actually doing 9 because that 10th site, upon further investigation, myself and others decided that we really don't need to excavate that site. It's doing pretty good, so we want to hold on to that in situ. A little aerial view of where these sites are that we're excavating. We have one archaic site up here. This is a Lee's Ferry area. And then the majority of our sites are around what we call Reach 5. And this is the LCR right here. And all the work that we're going to talk about tonight is centered on this eastern portion of the canyon, just to give you an idea. We are actually in April and May going to be doing excavations in April down here and here, and those are more pie types of sites, roasting features, not so much the masonry structures down on this end. So that's going to give us some wonderful information on that too. So stay tuned. I'm sure maybe Helen will invite us again, wherever she is. So we're going to work from Lee's Ferry and just move downstream on some cool stuff that we're finding. The first site is called Axe Handle, and I wonder can we move that this way, or is that all right with you guys? Are we missing much? I don't think so. Never mind. Okay, the site's referred to as Axe Handle. One of the fortunate things we have on this M&A excavations and NPS excavation is that we are fortunate to have a geoarchaeologist on the team, and that's Dr. Kurt Anderson. I think he's in the crowd somewhere. And so we're very fortunate to have him to actually reconstruct the landscape for us. when, you know, prehistorically, so we can get this big picture of what it was all looking like. So I want to thank him for being there and doing that. So the geomorphology of this site in general, and these are all preliminary, you know, there's going to be more after the excavations and analysis are all done. But this particular site is in a shallow overhang, which you can see right in here, and it's in a backwater eddy. So basically it's on the inside bend of the turn of the river. So when there's floods depositing, floods are coming down, it's circulating and it's going into the little inside turn, slows down and it deposits. Really good place to have water slow down, deposit sediments, and then you have a pretty good preservation of flood episodes that's going on. So that's pretty interesting. The archaeology in general dates about 3000 BC to AD 1000, but it's primarily in the basket maker, early formative time period so far. And that could change, but right now we've got some features, about 26 or so, that look to be dating in this range right here, which is extremely unique for Grand Canyon. The location's a little precarious. What's happened here, you know, you probably just thought I lied to you because I said preservation was really good. Well, we've got a drip line up here that's caused this large arroyo cut. And it's cutting, here's some cultural features here. It's completely cutting this, the landscape into a big, huge arroyo. So prior to, note this, he is in the audience. Prior to during our first session, we had a first 4-day session. Our goal was to do some profiling of these walls. Our safety officer, Barry Clark, came in and stayed with us for 4 days and said, you guys, you need to worry about walls collapsing, you know, and getting buried alive. And he scared us enough that we wanted to participate in our own survival. He actually showed us how to tie the ladders with the ropes or the lines. I forget what that term was. Ropes. I'm going to call them ropes tonight. And we had to harness ourselves in to the ladder. We also, once we started our excavation units, we also had to harness ourselves inside the excavation units because we weren't coming from we had to go from top down, obviously. And so when you're on the edge, leaning forward, digging, you know, it's kind of scary. So it made me feel good, and I think it made everybody else feel good. We were, you know, hawing about it and whatever, but we actually were appreciative of his knowledge and stuff like that. So the cut was like at least 5 meters deep is what we were working on. So why were we on the ladders? Well, we ended up, for the first 4-day session, there were 4 of us, or 4 or 5 of us, that actually did huge detailed profiles of those walls. And, well, in total, by the end of the project, we had at least 30 linear meters total of profiles that we did. And it all looked like this. A lot of it all looked like this. It was a layer cake type of, you know, view when we were looking at it, right? When you were looking straight at it. And the gray are flood deposits, the white are cultural features, and the speckled mottled stuff is the like sheet wash, pebbles, sands that would come in between the floods. It's pretty cool because we recorded over 25 flood deposits that span over 5,000 years. So that's pretty incredible. Not just for archaeologists, but, you know, for the bigger scheme of the paleo environment. Let's see.